I think we're recording. I can't really see.
It says we
Welcome
are.
back to another episode of Two Fans, 12 Rings. Jeff here. Brad, what's up, dude?
What is up?
Nothing much. What you guys just missed is basically about 3 to 4 minutes of me begging Brad to go to the draft with me on Thursday night. But here we are, okay? And we have, as promised, a full first-round mock with a full second-round mock. This has been Brad's baby. Give us the parameters. What are we looking at? So we're looking at two full rounds. Do you have trades?
Yeah, so 2 full rounds. I do have trades. I did a couple different websites where you have to put in actual teams' resources to trade. I will be saying what was involved in the trade that is within these first 2 rounds. For example, if a team traded from 38 to 25 and it cost, that pick and a third rounder and a future second. I didn't write the third rounder and future second. It's all speculation on what it could cost. I just wrote what changes in our draft. A lot of people, I will give a prereq. A lot of people think predicting trades is crazy. I don't. This doesn't exactly line up to how many trades there are, but there's 64 picks. 23 of them will be by a different team than you would find on your computer via trades and moving and things of that nature.
Okay, I am pulling up the draft order, but as you get into, you're going to have to help me out.
I have it all written down here, so it should be pretty good.
All right. Are we ready?
Buckle up.
All right, here we go. So round 1, pick 1, the Chicago Bears acquired this pick last year in the Bryce Young trade. Okay, so the Carolina Panthers lost this pick to the Bears, and here we are. Pick number 1, Bears are on the clock.
Yeah, I thought about making jokes and stuff, but we got 2 full rounds here. Caleb Williams is going to the Bears.
Yep, pretty easy, pretty significant pick for them. They've never had a 4,000-yard passer in their team's history, which is wild because Jay Cutler played for them and threw the ball all the time.
Also, it's pretty even odds. You can find it on FanDuel. I believe it's around 3,800 and some change, but that is Caleb Williams' over-under yards marker for next season. It's lower than 4,000 yards. I know that for sure. So if you think you can break that and he'll go to the Bears, you can go ahead and splash some money on that right now if you want.
That'd be dope. Pick number 2, lots of debate here. Some people think it's one guy, some people think it's another guy, but it's between 2. Who are you going with pick 2?
I think a defensive
Washington is on the clock. Sorry.
Yeah, I think a defensive head coach in Cliff Kingsbury. I think they just want the more ready, the more veteran, the more polished quarterback, and he's versatile with his legs. I'm going back to Jayden Daniels. If you keep up on my mocks, I've switched back and forth here. I'm going to go ahead and keep it Jayden Daniels, and everything I hear leads me to believe that as well. These first 2 picks probably shouldn't trick anybody. I like Jayden Daniels here at number 2.
Pick 3. It is the greatest franchise in all of football. It's the New England Patriots. They're not used to drafting the top 5. They have not drafted the top 5, I believe, since 1992, I think, the year I was born. Where are you going here with pick 3?
So Patriots, like you said, unfamiliar territory, not picking inside the top 5 since 1993, you said, or 1992. Yeah. So they're not going to do that this year either. They're going to trade the pick, in my opinion. I know that there is a lot of speculation that you need a quarterback, but I think the Patriots wanted Jayden Daniels. I don't know if they want a 21-year-old quarterback. I think this is where the Vikings come up. I think the Vikings, for this sake, they're going to give up picks 11 and 23. The Patriots will grab 2 picks in the first round as the Vikings come up to select Drake May.
So where I'm at, there's basically 3 things that I want. I want Drake May, or I want Marvin Harrison, which I think is so far out of reach at this point. Or I want them to trade with the Vikings to have 2 first-round picks this year.
Yeah, I think this pick.
I'm happy that you traded out. what you do with the pick, I will criticize heavily. But as of right now, I'm not disappointed.
And I will also say that this third pick with May, JJ, Marvin, all on the board is very expensive. Vikings could get future compensation with the charges against the Kirk Cousins propaganda and all that whatnot. But this could potentially be 2 first-rounders this year, a first and a second next year. Like the Patriots could get an absolute haul for this pick. And there seems to be, more quarterbacks even coming out next year. Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel, and I'm sure a couple others will. DJ Uyunglele, Cam Ward. So I think the Patriots trade out. Vikings select Drake May. And like Dan Orlovsky and a lot of people say, it's pretty self-explanatory. Whoever gets drafted as a quarterback to the Vikings could be an early candidate for offensive rookie of the year with the setup they have with the O-line coaches, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it is a spot where you think the Vikings are okay with overpaying because they're so set offensively that they're okay with maybe taking a step back defensively. They just need their quarterback.
Also, Sam Darnold, they did sign for $10 million. He will be able to start in front of whoever it is. And I know people sometimes can forget J.J. McCarthy and Drake May are both 21 years old. Their combined age is less than Tom Brady when he retired. Like, they're young. So it's something to think
about. Pick number 4 belongs to the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are on the clock.
Yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I have inside sources, but I'm going to put on my Adam Schefter hat here. I think that in a bizarre way, the Arizona Cardinals are one of those rumored teams that do value Malik Nabers over Marvin Harrison. But you cannot deal with the media if you draft Malik over Marvin Harrison. I think the Giants trade from 6 to 4. I think the Cardinals take 2 steps back. They know that the Giants will be coming up for a quarterback, and they know that Marvin Harrison, by whoever's there at 5, is probably the pick at 5, which will free them up for Malik Nabers. Bit of a risk play here, but the Cardinals are also in a big rebuild. They could use further picks back. Just for this 2-round mock, they're only swapping 4 and 6. But I think the Cardinals trade the pick to the Giants, who come up 2 spots to take J.J. McCarthy. They know that 5 is a hot spot for people to trade with the Cardinals and take a quarterback. I think the first 4 picks are all QBs, and I think all quarterbacks are worth it here. So the Giants, it's a weird dynamic because I know a lot of people don't like the fit of J.J. going to the Giants, but that's not up to us. The Giants need a new quarterback.
Yeah, it's plausible. It's definitely plausible. I think there's a lot going on. I do think that the Cardinals are sneaky to trade out of the pick. It had some momentum at first. It's lost momentum. I think there's something there.
I will also say if the Vikings do the trade at 3 and take J.J. McCarthy, I think it's more likely that the Giants trade up to 4 for Drake May.
Okay. Pick number 5, Jim Harbaugh and the Cardinals are on the clock.
Yeah, I think it's a well-known story that the Chargers seem to want to do anything they can to trade back, unless it's just the biggest lie of all time and they can't wait to pick somebody at 5. I also think this is a copycat league. Last year, we saw the Houston Texans use all their assets to trade up to get 2 top picks. The Bears took Caleb Williams. They're trading up from 9 to 5 to take Marvin Harrison Jr. The Bears are going to pick at 1 and 5 and get the number 1 and number 2 overall prospects in the draft, and they're going to do everything they can, all chips in the middle, to make Caleb Williams work. 4 quarterbacks are gone. The top prospect, the non-quarterback, is on the board, Marvin Harrison. The Bears come up from 9 to 5. Chargers drop back, stay inside the top 10, get some picks further today or tomorrow or next year, And I think the Bears shock everybody, getting Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison.
Wow.
Bombshell.
All right. Bombshell. Absolute bombshell. And Bears fans are literally shitting themselves.
I think if someone wants to trade up for the 2 quarterbacks, people look just outside the top 10 at Denver and the Raiders. they're in the same division as the Chargers, less likely to be traded with. A lot of people think the Jets could come up here. I think the Bears would potentially give up more for it.
Pick number 6 once belonged to the Giants. They traded up. They selected J.J. McCarthy at 4. This now belongs to the Cardinals. Cardinals are on the clock.
Malik Neighbors. That's who they wanted. Marvin Harrison's gone. They take their guy, and they don't have to deal with the media backlash.
And they get some draft compensation later.
Yep.
Pick 7. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock, heavily rumored to be taking Joe Alt. Are you going differently here?
Nope. They're going to take the big guy. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got Calvin Ridley. You can make an argument that Rome Odunze is in play here with DeAndre Hopkins last year of his deal. But simply put, if they want to see if Will Levis can work, which they liked him last year and he showed flashes, he can't just be running for his life every play. Joe Alt's got to go here.
Pick 8. The Atlanta Falcons are on the clock. I'm one of the rare people that think that they could use a wide receiver. Everybody has been mocking Dallas Turner. Where are you going here?
So I think they could use a receiver, but with that being said, I do think they'll go defense. But here's the fun thing for me is I think that with every defensive player still available, they don't have to pick here. They could trade back. I also wanted to say the defensive coordinator for the Falcons was the defensive coordinator who recruited and coached Laiatu Latu for 2 years. So there is a chance they could take Laiatu Latu over Dallas Turner. But actually right here, we know a team who got more assets already in this draft, but they're going to repurpose it to move forward. I think the Patriots come up from 11 to 8 for Rome Odunze. They traded back because they needed more weapons. They're right in the line of sight to move up over the Jets to get Rome Odunze to the 8th spot. They're not – the Chargers and Jets are both candidates for a wide receiver. They're going to move up with the Falcons. They'll move 11 steps back. We know that Kraft and ownership from the Falcons have been in conversation with the Bill Belichick stuff. They seem to have a good relationship higher up on the food chain. Falcons know they're still going to get a top 2 defensive player, maybe still have their entire pick of the litter. Patriots use the 2 picks they've acquired moving back. They move up from 11 to 8, Rome Odunze to the New England Patriots.
Wide receiver is one of the 3 positions that they absolutely need to address in this draft. Love it. Like Rome Odunze. Pick 9 was the Bears. They traded up to 5. This pick belongs to the Chargers, correct?
Correct.
What you got?
Brock Bowers. They could have taken him at 5. I think they not desperately, but they need weapons, and Jim Harbaugh wants offensive line help. Brock Bowers is 2 birds, 1 stone, and he's just an elite athlete. His draft stock has kind of fallen because the quarterback talk and the 3 wide receivers. But let's not forget what Brock Bowers was for Georgia the last 2 or 3 years. Brock Bowers goes in the top 10 to the Chargers. In a no-trade mock, he would have went to the Chargers at 5, in my opinion.
Okay. Pick number 10 belongs to the New York Jets.
Yep.
On the clock.
Yeah, the New York Jets, there's a plethora of offensive tackles. It's really kind of who do you like? What do they, specialize in, or where are they at in the line? I think Washington's Troy Fautanu is going to be the 2nd tackle off the board, and it's simple because he's a tackle, he's a guard, and he's a center. He can play all 3 positions. They have 2 tackles that are both 30-plus years old on the New York Jets. They always seem to get some trouble in the middle of the O-line. They have Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers. We got to protect him. We got to have guys. He's going to start week 1 and play wherever they need throughout the year. Troy Fautanu, offensive line to the New York Jets.
What? Washington. Got it. Okay. Pick number 11 did belong to the Vikings. Then it belonged to the Patriots. Now it belongs to the Falcons.
Yep.
Where are you going here at 11? Atlanta Falcons are on the clock.
We kind of maybe we're sweating it out moving back from 8, but Dallas Turner's still here. We're just going to go ahead and rip the best pure edge rusher in the draft, Dallas Turner. We knew that if he was to go away while we were on our 3 pick, we'd be fine with Laiatu Latu, but Dallas Turner's here. We're just going to go ahead and take him.
Okay. Pick 12, it is the Denver Broncos. I know there's a player that you've been heavily on matching with the Denver Broncos. Where are you going here at 12?
The Broncos need so much help. A quarterback obviously is a need. They did trade for Zach Wilson. They have Jared Stidham. Is that the answer? I don't think so. They need more picks. And if you look at after the Broncos, the Raiders could take a quarterback and the Saints could take a quarterback. But the Broncos need picks. They've traded back for assets. The Patriots, who've acquired 23 and have 35, will use their first and second rounder to move up to 12 to take Michael Penix to pair him with Rome Odunze. The Patriots in the first round will end up selecting at 8 and 12, take Rome Odunze and Michael Penix to kind of revamp the look of their offense going into 2024.
I'm here for it.
With Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Rome Odunze, Michael Penix, they're always going to have a solid running game. The defense, Gerard Mayo's the head coach. They can figure that out. But they've moved back from 3, repurposed those to move up. In the end, they're going to end up with about the same amount of picks over the next 2 years. Michael Penix, Rome Odunze, nice little story for New England as they can kick their feet up and then just enjoy the rest of the first round of the draft.
I like it. Really aggressive. Pick 13, Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock.
Also, I think that with Gerard Mayo being the new guy, it was a lot of passive and trade back with Bill. I think there's some teams that maybe have new GMs that are more excited to kind of be new, be more current, be more aggressive in that mindset. I think that's what Gerard Mayo maybe is selling to Kraft, and that's what they want to do. Move back, but then use it all to move forward. 13, the Raiders. I thought about defensive back. I thought about weapon, but the 3 wide receivers are gone. They could take the top corner, but I have them taking Olu Fashanu, offensive tackle from Penn State. I think he could have been a top 5 or top 10 pick last year. And this year it just kind of got too crowded at the top, and he's fallen back. I think the Raiders can't really hurt with O-line, and I've talked to 2 Raiders fans in person, and they both said offensive line would be top priority. I don't think they're going Bo Nix, so you have to protect these quarterbacks that you do have, see what you got going on.
At pick 14, the New Orleans Saints are on the clock.
Talisi Fuaga, the best run-blocking offensive tackle in the draft, right tackle. They're going to be a run-heavy team. They've got Derek Carr. They've got Alvin Kamara. I really like that the Saints getting a tackle here. Also, I think Ryan Ramczyk, he's not taking well to his surgery that he was having. It's not looking like he's going to be able to play at the level he was or at all. So they need offensive line help.
Pick 15 belongs to the Indianapolis Colts. They're on the clock.
Quinyon Mitchell, University of Toledo, number 1 corner, finally comes off the board. He was great in college. He was great at the combine. He was great at his pro day. He was great at the Senior Bowl. He was great. I mean, everything. Check. You have to take him as the first DB off the board. Terrion Arnold may be the only guy who can compete with him there. It's got to be Quinyon Mitchell, UT 14.
Very cool.
This guy could have gone to the Raiders too. I tossed and turned over it. I went with offensive line.
Pick 16 belongs to the Seattle Seahawks. They are on the clock.
They're going to take edge rusher Laiatu Latu. Now, do you know his whole story?
Yeah, so I forget who he played for.
Washington.
He had a neck injury, medically retired, got a second opinion, came out of medical retirement, and then balled out, right? Is that kind of the
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he had the neck injury, the surgery, medically retired. He got a second opinion after 1 year off from the same surgeon who did Peyton Manning's neck surgery. Got cleared to return, and for 2 straight years, just unbelievably productive, has a arsenal of moves. He is a freak show. If you can get past the neck, if you can check that, if your medical team can clear him, I think he's better than Dallas Turner. I think he's the best edge rusher in the draft.
So we are done with half of the first round. You want to do a quick recap?
Yeah. So we've got, I'm not going to recap the trades, just each pick.
Yep.
Bears, Caleb Williams. Commanders, Jaden Daniels. Vikings, Drake May. Giants, J.J. McCarthy. Bears, Marvin Harrison Jr. Crazy draft for the Bears. Cardinals, Malik Neighbors. Titans, Joe Alt. Patriots, Rome Odunze. Chargers, Brock Bowers. Excuse me. Jets, Troy Fautanu. Falcons, Dallas Turner. Patriots, Michael Penix. Raiders, Olu Fashanu. Saints, Talisi Fuaga. Colts, Quinyon Mitchell. Seahawks, Laiatu Latu.
All right. Pick 17 belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're on the clock.
Or does it? They're going to trade the pick. Jaguars are going to move back 4 spots with the Miami Dolphins. Bengals, Rams, Steelers, you could see them all taking offensive line. The Dolphins are going to get aggressive here and move up 4 spots. Take J.C. Latham, pure right tackle. 2 is the only left-handed quarterback in the league currently before Michael Penix gets drafted. They need a right tackle. They lost a guard in free agency. They need O-line help. J.C. Latham, Alabama to the Dolphins.
Nice pick there. Pick 18 belongs to the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are on the clock.
The Bengals have 2 edge rushers, but they need help in the middle of their defensive line. They're facing Nick Chubb, Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, and 3 run-heavy offenses. Byron Murphy II out of Texas goes to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay. I'll come back to this. Pick 19 belongs to the Rams. LA Rams. First round pick since I believe 2016 when they selected Jared Goff. It's been a long time. What's the splash pick here?
It's not really like anything crazy, but for a long time he was going to be the first corner. So Quinyon Mitchell burst on the scene. Terrion Arnold to the Rams. They're going to take another defensive guy. They're going to need help on the back end without having Aaron Donald anymore. So there's going to be more time to cover and more need for it. Terrion Arnold corner.
So we're going to take a quick break here, and I have a question. So yeah. Do you feel the Rams could be a player to trade up for Byron Murphy? Having no Aaron Donald, I feel like that could be an aggressive move from them.
Yeah, I thought about it for D tackle, but the only thing about trading up for Byron Murphy is Illinois' Jerzon Newton is like it's kind of like right there to Byron Murphy. They're the 2 D tackles that I think will both go in the first round. Depends on what you like. A lot of people say that Jerzon Newton is more Aaron Donald style, just smaller. I mean, Aaron Donald looks like a F-150, you know what I mean? So he's a little bit smaller, but Jerzon Newton's a pick. It could be defensive tackle. I weighed on it a little bit here and there. I just think that if you were to look at the top of your board, the top corner, the top D tackles, Terrion Arnold's probably got a higher grade on their board than either of the defensive tackles. But it could absolutely be a D tackle. I don't want to rule out some picks. Like if you were to type in what are teams' needs and you look at their top 3, some teams may have 3 picks and I didn't get one of those needs. I'm not going to make it perfect. I don't want to go back and be like, oh, he could have got hit. So Terrion Arnold corner, I just think he falls to him and they take him.
Back to business with your Pittsburgh Steelers at pick 20. They're on the clock.
Yeah, the con artist, he's been a wheeler and dealer since he's come in, totally different than Colbert when he was the owner of the Steelers. The Steelers are going to trade back here. A lot of people think the Steelers need wide receivers and they need interior offensive linemen. We could get an extra pick in this draft. We already have a first, a second, and 2/3. We're going to trade back from 20 to 28. We're also going to get pick 60 towards the back end of the second round as the Bills give up 2 picks to come up to 20 and take Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver from LSU. They need a wide receiver. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is gone. They just have Curtis Samuel and Shakir, 2 kind of smaller intermediate guys. You got the tight ends, but they need someone on the perimeter who can stretch down the field. And some little nugget about Brian Thomas. One reporter said you could ask him 30 questions and he would respond in 30 words. He doesn't talk. He doesn't like to talk. He just does his business. And I think the Bills could really, really use that in their locker room right now as a guy who just comes in and just catches footballs. Averaged 17-point-something yards a catch last year for LSU. He's their deep ball guy. You got to give Josh Allen a number 1. And the Bills have a lot of picks in this draft. They could trade up later, but yeah, they're going to give up picks 28 and 60 to move up to 20.
Pick 21 did belong to the Dolphins. They traded up to 17. This should belong to the Jacksonville Jaguars, correct?
It does.
They're on the clock.
Athletic nightmare on defense, Cooper DeJean. Also has increased draft stock with the new return system of the kickoff. Jaguars need a corner, a nickel, and a safety. Well, they're going to get all three with one pick. So Cooper DeJean is going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm excited to see him play. He's an exciting guy. He's an exciting player.
That brings me to pick 22. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock.
Yeah, on most big boards, this guy's probably sitting around 10, 11, 12, maybe 13. I think he's a tremendous player. Jared Verse is going to fall to the 20s. Defensive edge / edge rusher. They lost Hassan Reddick to the Jets. They're going to replace him with Jared Verse from Florida State. He's fallen a little bit behind Laiatu Latu's rise and, Dallas Turner, the defensive backs, and the plethora of offensive players. So Jared Verse falls to 22, and the Eagles grab him.
Pick 23 was the Vikings. Then it was New England. And then New England moved up. Who has 23 right now?
It is the Broncos. They traded with the Broncos. Broncos trade back. They get an extra pick at 35, and Bo Nix is still there. At 23, the Broncos are going to take Bo Nix. All 6 quarterbacks go in the first round.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you looked up? Is there a 5.5 bet on DraftKings?
Yeah, so let me tell you, it's a little bit of a ride, little sidebar here. It showed up that the odds were over or under 4.5 quarterbacks was the bet. At minus 210, I put $100 on it. It dropped down to minus 170, but I was like, let me see if this can drop or I can get a profit boost. As of today, Peter Schrager said he believes all 6 quarterbacks could go potentially in the first half of the first round. Michael Penix to go in the first round has gone from minus 110 to minus 250. And the over 4.5 quarterbacks is now at minus 320. So I'm going to go ahead and win all the money that I bet on originally, but it's almost not even worth the squeeze now. It's basically a lock. I thought that FanDuel would do 5.5. They did 4.5, and the odds are just a little bit absurd, but you could say it's free money.
Jeez.
Mm.
Pick 24. Dallas Cowboys are on the clock.
Yeah, they're all in. So they're going to take center / left tackle Graham Barton. They lost their center and their left tackle. It can't be a splash play. Cowboys fans are going to boo the heck out of the stage, I think, at this pick. And it's a shame because he's a great player and he's going to, a team that traditionally has good offensive linemen. He'll be next to Zach Martin, but Graham Barton. Barton and Martin right in the middle there.
Pick 25 belongs to the Green Bay Packers. Packers having a heck of a late season run. They're on the clock here at 25, probably later than they should be picking, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Packers traditionally always select offense in the draft, especially in the first round. So we're going to go ahead and stick with that trend and take Nate Wiggins. Obviously, I was being sarcastic, you guys. They, is there a trade alert? Someone calling in to trade him? But no, obviously the Packers always take defense in the first round unless they're trading up for franchised quarterbacks, I guess is how that works. But yeah, Nate Wiggins, he ran like a 4.28 at the combine, can absolutely fly, suffered a bit of a hammy. He's kind of smaller, but they need help on defense. Nate Wiggins is kind of falling down the board here. They're going to take a defensive back. Nate Wiggins from Clemson goes to the Packers.
Pick 26 belongs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're on the clock.
Yeah, we're going to go back-to-back defensive backs here. And maybe the coolest name on day one, Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback from Alabama, is going to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That is a God-given name.
I don't want to speculate.
Birth name. That is a birth certificate.
I don't want to speculate, but he's been Kool-Aid ever since I've known about his existence. So I'm going to say yeah. It would be weird if it was John McKinstry, but he goes by Kool-Aid. I mean, His name's Ricky. I don't know. Randall McKinstry. No, it's got to be Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bust through the wall. Come on.
Smashes through the wall.
Just pure sugar into water. Give it to me.
Pick 27 belonged to the Texans. They traded last year to make the splash play of getting Will Anderson. Cardinals are on the clock here at 27. Did they trade this pick or no?
Nope, they have this naturally. I believe it was from the Texans trade up for Will Anderson last year.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so the Cardinals have it. They're going to take monster offensive tackle Amarius Mims. This is the guy from Georgia who I believe he's the one who has a limited amount of starts, but his upside just seems tremendous. He's like 6'8", 330. He's huge, just an absolute wall. And how much fundamentals do you need when it's just hard to move a guy that size? You know, he's an athlete, another Georgia guy coming out. Cardinals get a wide receiver and an offensive tackle. Don't be surprised on draft day if they just go ahead and double dip at wide receiver because they pick again at 35. 35.
So you had them taking who earlier?
They took Malik Nabers.
And then they're getting Amarius Mims. So basically wide receiver, offensive tackle. Okay. Pick 28 was the Buffalo Bills. They traded up with the Steelers, correct? So Steelers are on the clock here at 28?
Yeah, so the Steelers, a lot of people think offensive line, it was better last year, but they did lose Mason Cole in free agency, so there is a gap at center, have some guys who can move. But they've had this trend last year of kind of building an old team, and they have Darnell Washington, Broderick Jones, George Pickens. They've traded for they have Quez Watkins, a free agent pickup, Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, a bunch of just like deep threat wide receiver threes. George Pickens needs a running mate, and who else better than his former teammate and someone who I love very much, Adonai Mitchell, Georgia and Texas product. He comes out. You got to give these quarterbacks stuff to work with, especially Russ and Justin Fields, see what they got. And also, by thresholds of 40-time height, weight, bench press, and vertical, two guys that reach a certain mark on all five of those, there's only two names, Adonai Mitchell and DK Metcalf, who Russell Wilson's worked with in the past. Both these guys like the deep ball. George Pickens, Adonai Mitchell, teammates again.
Pick 29 belongs to the hometown Detroit Lions. This pick's probably going to get cheered no matter who it is. Downtown Detroit's going to be popping. Who are the Lions taking? Are they trading out?
Nope, the Lions are taking it here. Aiden Hutchinson is a freak, as billed, if not better, for the Detroit Lions. But they need to help him a little bit on that front seven. I don't think they go edge rusher here. I think they park Jerzon Newton right in the middle of that defensive line. He can get after the passer in pass situations. He can run block and run situations. He's a three-down player, immense motor, and he's a big reason why Illinois was in a lot of games in the Big Ten. He's an absolute house wrecker in there. I think they continue to build on that pass rush because the way their offense looked last year, they're going to be playing with some leads. We need not give those up. So Jerzon Newton, defensive tackle. Another Big Ten guy for Dan Campbell.
Pick 30 belongs to the Baltimore Ravens. They are on the clock.
Yeah, I think they're excited to block for not only Lamar Jackson, but Derrick Henry now. They can always use some help on the O-line. And Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon can play center and guard. Get a little bit of help in the trenches there. I think it's a safe pick for a team that knows their identity, and they just want to continue to do that.
I'm getting starting to question a certain player here.
There's going to be a few of it.
Pick 31 belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. They're on the clock.
Trent Williams is getting old. Their right tackle was weak. Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle from Oklahoma. The tackle draft is so deep, and so is the wide receivers. Someone's got to make a stand and guess somewhere. I think the wide receivers are going to suffer in the first round. And a lot of those names will be pushed back to the second. A lot of offensive linemen going for me in the first round. Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle, Oklahoma, goes to the 49ers.
Last pick of the first round belongs to the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. What are they doing here?
They're trading the pick. They're not doing anything super crazy, but the Cardinals have 35 and the Chiefs have 32. 3 picks. Cardinals are going to jump back into the first round, and they're going to select Chop Robinson, edge rusher from Penn State. I think they have a defensive head coach. They built from the trenches at the Eagles. They got their guy. They got the quarterback, a wide receiver. Let's get a tackle and an edge rusher here. Let's use our 3 picks. Chop is an unbelievable athlete, and you go ahead and pull the trigger and you grab him at the end of the first round, 32. There's also a really cool path for the draft where Chop Robinson and Laiatu Latu did a lot of things together, training for the combine, going to the combine. They're like super close friends now. It was a really good 20, 30-minute episode on Path to the Draft. I recommend anybody check that out if you got 20, 30 minutes.
Just to be clear, you have the Cardinals taking 3 first-rounders, correct?
Correct, and they already have 4, 27, and 35, so they're using 35 to just come back in, yep.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Cardinals fans got to be loving life. Like,
Yeah.
Holy cow, we can actually be decent again.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of help there. I mean, you got to get after the passer. You got to protect your quarterback. Got to give him weapons, and they do all 3.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of the first round. We're gonna end this episode. We're gonna record the second one here. Make sure you turn into episode 2. We're gonna have the complete second round draft as well as mailbag questions. This one went 30-ish minutes. It's kind of where we wanted to be around. Hope you guys dug it. Listen to the second one. We'll be back.
Can't wait.